Now, by being an Aussie, you're a true individual. Everyone's got good mates. In Australia, we introduce ourselves as, or say goodbye as, hey mate, how you doing mate? Catch you mate. See you mate. At the end of the day at work, I say, see you in the morning. See you mate. Now, being an Aussie, we have actually been released from the world. Now, Captain James Cook founded Australia, and we were under British rule. But in 1919, the King of England, coming out of World War I, decided that Australia was a burden, so he released us. 1939 to 1941, the British government released us, saying that the British government has no rule over Australia anymore. And in 1986, the Australia Act was passed, which is why our logo, our emblem, was changed from the British lion to the kangaroo and the emu. We're not part of England anymore. Recently, I was speaking to a guy, he says, why do you guys call us the Poms? Because a Pom is a prisoner of Mother England. So, the thing is, we were released years ago. They're the prisoners. But a little while ago, a friend of mine was telling me a story. And he was a Pommy, and he came out to Australia. And hey, we're the shit that John Lewis rejects. We are the scum of the earth. We came out here as convicts. This country was founded on convict labour, the ones that stole the loaf of bread. Now, he came out, got to customs, walked into customs, and they said, criminal record. And he looked at him and said, I'm terribly sorry. I didn't think it was compulsory anymore. He almost didn't get into the country. But a very good man called James Cook came out in a ship very similar to this. This is a replica of the Endeavour that Cook travelled the planet with, travelled the globe. He didn't have any fancy stuff like a navman that said, at the next wave, turn left. He had to navigate the globe using his mind and his knowledge. He used telescopes to look at the stars. He used a sextant. Now, a sextant, despite popular belief, is not a tent you take camping to have sex in. It is something that you use to navigate the horizon and the stars, to determine where you are on the globe at any one point. Now, I took this sextant down to my local tennis club, one of the clubs that I drink with, or drink at, and we could not work out how this thing worked. 45 minutes. None of us knew how it worked. Luckily, Captain James Cook did, because he found Australia. Now, an important thing to remember is this. The sun rises in the east and sets in the west, which means during the day it goes across. The Earth does one full revolution every 23 hours, 57 minutes and 4 seconds. We have high tide. We have low tide. This is something I was taught when I was 5. When you want to go fishing, you get a tide chart. And that tide chart will determine what time is the best time for fishing, what tides go up and down. You can go out and buy a tide chart today and look at the next year on where the tides are going to be, at what time, at what point, at what spot to do your best fishing. Scientists don't understand this or comprehend this. So we do one full revolution every 24 hours, which is why the analog watch, as the sun's coming across, when you point the 12 towards the sun, halfway between the 12 and the hour hand will always point north, because as it's coming across, just like a sundial, we are spinning at the same speed as the shadow of a sundial, which is very, very slowly. Mind you, when you speed it up, you'll note that the shadow moves a bit quicker, but the trees in the background are moving rapidly. So we spin very, very slowly, which is why I know that they didn't walk on the moon. America did not walk on the moon. Because one of the theories of gravity is mass creates gravity. Now, that means if you're standing on top of Kosciuszko, you've got more mass under you, so therefore you weigh more. The other theory is if you go down into a cave or a mine, you've got more mass above you, so therefore you weigh less. One of the other theories of gravity, give me a second, one theory is like a spinning top. We've got to spin really, really fast to stay upright. But if that was the case, like this, at a Karate Kid, I think it was number 3, we spin really fast, we'd spin off into outer space. Now, I asked this question to a scientist once. Have you ever ridden a push bike in the rain? And she replied, of course not, I'd get a cold. But as a kid, 5 years old, riding your push bike, the water spins around, the tyre spins and runs up your back, leaves you a little trail up the back. So if we span really, really fast, the water would spin off into outer space and we'd be a dry and arid desert planet like the Moon or Mars. So when America decided to cheer up America, that they were the greatest country in the world and that the Christians had a guy that allegedly walked on water, but the truth of the matter is this. A long time ago there was a possibility of a guy standing on a raft floating down a river, the same river that the Catholic Church is still in, the Nile. And America is in the Nile because they did not walk on the moon. They're not the greatest country in the world. They have created some of the most debilitating diseases: schizophrenia, bipolar, ADD, ADHD, cancer, AIDS. All of these diseases get traced back to a thing called mycoplasmas. 1893, the American government tracked down and did research and found a thing called mycoplasmas in people, plants, all sorts of things, and learnt how to alter them. We'll go into that more on the piece about disease. But a lot of lovely things came out of America. Not. Now, the thing about the moon, there's links on my page to sites and a lot of stuff showing how it was all faked and all done in a hangar. Hangar 19, Area 52. Hey, Hangar 18 and Area 51 were a little busy.